This is Domestic Report on Tobacco News. We're starting with the focus on politics. Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has dismissed all commissioners and public office holders in his administration with immediate effect following last week's Supreme Court judgment. The announcement, contained in a statement by his Chief Press Secretary Nelson Chukudi, came after a valedictory session at the Government House, Port Harcourt, where the governor thanked all his outgoing cabinet for their contribution to the state over the past 2 years. Fubara, who pledged to serve with a renewed vigor, urged unity and cooperation with President Bola Tinubu to build a more peaceful and prosperous Nigeria. The move ends weeks of uncertainty after the exit of Emergency Administrator Vice Admiral Ibokete Ibas, with the State Assembly now pressing the governor to present fresh commissioner nominees and the 2025 budget for screening. Still on politics, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan of Kogi Central has returned to the Red Chamber after her 6-month suspension as the National Assembly on Tuesday unsealed her office, previously locked since March 6, 2025. The outspoken lawmaker, who had clashed with Senate President Godswill Akpabio over sitting agreements and also accusing him of sexual harassment, declared she had no apology to tender, while thanking her supporters for standing by her. Her comeback, hailed by opposition leaders and activists as a victory against political intimidation, underscores both her resilience and the risk of renewed confrontation in a Senate dominated by compromise. Now moving to international relations, dozens of Nigerians remain incarcerated in Ethiopia despite repeated diplomatic efforts, as delays in ratifying a memorandum of understanding on prisoner transfer stalled their repatriation. The agreement, which would allow inmates to serve their sentence in Nigeria, has yet to be approved by Ethiopia's parliament, even after sustained engagement by Nigerian officials. Minister of State for Foreign Affairs Bianca Odomigu Ojukwu stressed that Nigeria had fulfilled all formalities, blaming the delay on Addis Ababa. Civil society groups and families have raised alarm over deplorable prison conditions, citing deaths from brutality, tuberculosis, and neglect, while a 2024 Federal High Court ruling ordering government intervention remains unimplemented. The prolonged impasse, despite renewed talks, has heightened calls for urgent action to prevent more Nigerian lives from being lost in Ethiopian prisons. Now in economy, Nigeria spent $2.86 billion servicing external debt between January and August 2025, accounting for 69.1% of its total foreign payment of $4.14 billion, according to Central Bank of Nigeria data. Although lower than the $3.06 billion spent in the same period of the 2024, debt obligations still consume about 7 out of every $10 in foreign outflow. Monthly figures revealed sharp fluctuations, with payments peaking at $632.36 million in March and plugging to $143.39 million in June. Fitch Ratings project external debt service will rise further to $5.2 billion in 2025, warning that Nigeria's weak revenue base and high intense costs continue to threaten fiscal stability. Now on security. Kano State Governor Abba Kabiru Yusuf has condemned State Commissioner of Police Ibrahim Adamu Bako of pulling police officers out of the March Past ceremony marking Nigeria's 65th Independence Day, describing the move as indiscretion and an affront to national unity. Speaking at the Sani Abacha Stadium on Wednesday, the governor accused the commissioner of partisanship and warned that such actions erode public trust in law enforcement. While praising other security agencies for participating, Yusuf said the commissioner's withdrawal embarrassed the state and amounted to disloyalty to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. More on security, wives and relatives of soldiers detained at the 7th Division Military Police Facility in Maiduguri have appealed to President Bola Tinubu to grant them a presidential pardon. In a statement signed by their leaders, Roselyn David and Abigail Jonathan, the families admitted the soldiers had erred but pleaded for a second chance. They argued that if amnesty could be extended to repentant Boko Haram members and bandits, soldiers who had once risked their lives defending Nigeria also deserved mercy. The group urged Tinubu, the National Assembly, and Nigerians of goodwill to support their call, stressing that forgiveness will restore dignity and rebuild trust between the military and the nation. Now in Metro, goods worth millions of naira were destroyed on Wednesday when fire gutted 26 shops at Bariga Market, Lagos in the early hours of Independence Day. The Lagos State Emergency Management Agency said the blaze, which began around 4 a.m., spread rapidly because the key clam shops were partitioned with wooden frameworks. Lasima Permanent Secretary Olufemi Oke Osanyitolu noted that the fire was contained through a joint effort by emergency responders and prevented from spreading to other parts of the market. While no lives were lost and no injuries reported, the cause of the fire remains unknown. That is the domestic news updates for now on Tobacco News. Do stay with us for more domestic updates and developments. I am Blessing Bassi.